Cat countdown. We're at T-4 liminal, T5 done, T4 goods prepped, need to finish, drop them in. It has turned into a memory lane sort of mashup excursion. Not that any of it is really crafted to a spec, right? I've pulled together the final release materials, left in room for a couple of extra specials that emerge, but basically ordering them up and down a little bit from what remains of the fuel in the pool, and it sort of gravitated into a sequence of its own, as it happens, right? Took my time because I was fishing for more, actually just clear resolution photos for my little NAD selfie special, as in the journey from the beginning to the end, live flashing before your eyes sort of vibe. And I've got a lot of it on my old hard drives, got like 12 drives somewhere in the bag over there. But I did also dump it all to Facebook, my Legacy Facebook. Once upon a time there's actually like dozens and dozens of archive albums from the long road on the India side of the story. 600 to 800 photos, whatever it is. And I came across, well, many interesting memories. Those are lovely to browse just unto myself. But there was also the Bomzen Bardo Tunnel, the epic end of times and days shit show from back in those days. It was referenced in Free Flow Retrospect, one of those episodes with the accounting of the rise and fall of systemic spirituality. But and if anyone took a look, they'd have an idea of what's going on here with the wrap-up cycle before the whatever that follows. But yeah, people don't pay attention, so let them boggle their minds. Not really my problem. There's always the option of paying attention, right? Anyway, so there's plenty there. Some point plunging deeper right now, just fishing for what I needed. When you're doing the process of mining for essence in the inner earth, or diving through the ocean basin of your, it's not really a boiling cauldron here, it is more of a encore, but a necessary one, even as we are not pushed to undertake actions. There is still a natural course that should unfold, take place as it must. So for that to be possible, you need to internal and external, right? You externalize the basin for a pool of reflections into which you dive, and that process is reflected in your inner circuits, in the microcosm. So that's why there must be a pile of significant mess. God knows our establishment here in the physical is a significant mess, including that old shed that needs to be sorted at some point. Another day, another cycle, enactment, engagement in the refinement, cleansing, ordering of all things. That's all it is. Last night, prepping yet another short wisdom drop for kernel drops, or I thought that I should, and I looked at what have we, and for some reason I couldn't be bothered. Instead I decided to take, for no reason, right? These are the choiceless decisions we make as it happens, the mash-up mandalas from Cisper times, the 12 seers epics, the 3D mandalas that I crafted back in the day, in, out, in, out, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. The basic 14-bit to balance tree of life schema expressed in like how many levels. You got the polarity beacons, you got the chakras, you've got the colors, you got the symbols, you got the blah blah blah. I made how many 4-layered versions of those, and then 3 mashups back in the day. The Psy-House version, the Art Pop Grimoire version, and then the metal version, obviously. They're all still there online, everything is still online. Even, of all things, the old Lake of Flowers productions, all the media, 108 gigabytes uploaded to the archive in the 2005-ish era, even that is still online and maintained for those who may be looking for it. So, you know, clear your pool, leave it there for legacy. The time capsule to archive is priming. I wish the internet were faster. I only got a couple more series dunked online. Seems that one night about 5 to 7 gigabytes is what it uploads from here. Anyway, so that's all happening in the fullness of time. Need to sub the Mr. Swim and Elderflower Sea for a special one of these days. Ours shortly, it's going out today as the next installment. Excuse me. Legends that reached the liminality exit. Denmark underground, and toward this part of the world, may that yet remain veiled, like whatever. So that's an operation. Doing it between the cracks and gaps, plenty of things happening in the real world, so-called, that I need to be tending to without upsetting anyone. So, on that note, it's clear that as far as productions actual, beyond these really ramblings, records, the crew from the hood, Little Anna G, Mr. Swim, Mr. Elder, Middle Flower Sea, also Wizard G, they'll be coming back, possibly on their individual streams as well, but for sure on their own channel. There is in fact since forever the Wizard of the Yonder Space, WOTYS. What is it? Sounds like what is. I like it. I've got the domain since a long time. It's for initially booked it for book legend tales creations, extending also the Mooland universe. The chrysalis over there has been on the shelf for like a year with excellent seeds, but no follow-up because it was supposed to be a shared process with the Butter Brothers, right? But as they play their Butter Blues, I need to move on and roll on my own terms, right? As always, that's what it always comes down to. Have to, you know, if you actually want to see it to completion, then do not depend on anyone. That's the way it goes. Depend on everything, but no depend on no subject, because subjects have their diversions, and you know, if that becomes the bottleneck, then it all holds down. So the train ain't waiting for anybody. The ship from Finland to Sweden once waited for me when I was still printing out our karma propaganda materials for the Norway episode with the one stick wielder who was over for sessions. The captain actually waited with the whole cruise ship. We were racing through the city with my ex-father-in-law to the boat. So we had this printing house, but that's a legend for another time. Instead of going to a printer publisher, we were home publishing this big ass machine, shooting 50 sheets a minute. Got some nice creamy paper for printing out these translations, so I can actually do in-house on demand instead of the overhead of volumes and budgets and so on. So that's the thing. There are plenty of stories somewhere in there, but for another time. I think that's a wrap, really. Countdown continues and life goes on, yeah? See what comes at T plus minus 0. I still also don't know exactly how everything plays out, but you know, keep moving the bits as it happens. That's all. Alright.